This morning, before the sun rose, I laid out the cards for Aries. The house was still quiet, the light still dark, and I sat down with my deck the way I do every morning, with intention, with silence, with respect. And the first card I turned over made me hold my breath. The Judgment. I sat very still for a long moment, my hands resting on the table, my heart beating a little faster. Because when the Judgment appears first, before anything else, before any question has even been asked, it means the universe didn't want to wait. It needed you to see this today. This is no coincidence, Aries. Nothing about the fact that you're here, watching this, right now, in this exact moment of your life, nothing about that is an accident. I've been reading the cards for over 20 years, and I still know in my bones when a card comes to deliver a message that cannot wait. This is one of those moments. So come here, my love. Sit with me for a little while. What I'm about to show you, I need you to hear it, because this reading is going to show you the card of your enemies, who they are, what they wanted, and what the universe has already decided about them. I'm going to bring you a message from your ancestors, from the ones who walked before you and never stopped watching. I'm going to show you what God is preparing for you right now, in silence, while you wait and wonder and doubt. I'm going to tell you about the person who cannot stop thinking about you, the one whose thoughts keep returning even when they don't want them to. And I'm going to give you the urgent message your heart has needed someone to say out loud for a long time. But first, my love, I want to acknowledge something. I know you've been carrying something heavy. The weight of having been attacked by someone you didn't expect. The anger of an injustice that was never resolved, never made right. The exhaustion of carrying this alone, in silence, because you didn't want to seem bitter or broken. Aries carries more than people know. And today, the cards are going to speak directly to that weight. The Judgment. Oh my God, Aries, do you understand what this card means? This is not a gentle card. This is not a card that whispers. The Judgment is the divine trumpet, the great pronouncement, the moment when heaven opens and a verdict is declared from above. In the image, you see the angel with the trumpet raised, and what was buried rising, called back, restored, given its voice. This is the card of divine justice, not human justice, not the justice of courts and opinions. Divine justice. And it has appeared for you, Aries, in connection with your enemies. Let me be very direct. Your enemies thought they had won. They buried something in you. Your confidence, your peace, your reputation, maybe your ability to trust people. They worked against you in ways you might not even fully know. Someone at work who smiled to your face and stabbed you from behind, took credit that was yours, turned others against you in quiet conversations you were never part of. Someone who defamed you, who told lies that traveled faster than the truth, who made people question who you are. Someone who envied you in silence, who couldn't stand what you had, who prayed for your stumbling. Someone who betrayed you, who knew your soft places and used them. The Judgment is saying they thought they had buried you. They had not buried you. They had planted you. And the divine tribunal has already pronounced the sentence, not in your enemy's favor, in yours. Does this resonate, Aries? Because I need you to stay with me. What comes next is important. If this reading is touching something real inside you, my love, if you feel seen right now, if something in your chest is loosening just a little, I ask you a small thing. Leave a like on this video. It takes 2 seconds and it tells the universe you received this message. And subscribe if you haven't yet, so the next time the cards have something urgent for you, you'll be the first to know. I'm not going anywhere, and neither is this energy that has been moving in your favor. Because here's what I know about Aries, my loves. You have tried everything. You have prayed, you have stayed silent when every part of you wanted to scream. You have ignored the attacks, carried yourself with dignity when dignity felt impossible. You have waited for things to pass, for justice to arrive on its own. And the anger is still there. Not because you are weak, not because you are holding on by choice, but because this kind of wound doesn't heal with patience and good advice. The anger persists because it was never truly addressed, because what was done to you was real, and real injuries require a real path to healing. Not just time, not just willpower. A sustained path, a road that takes you from the weight of what happened all the way through to liberation and into the victory that is already forming on the other side. My love, if you feel called to walk that sustained path, to not just survive what your enemies did, but to be genuinely freed from carrying them, I want to invite you to something. In the first pinned comment below this video, you will find the door to my 21 Decree Notebook. It is a work I created for moments exactly like yours, for people who have been attacked, who carry wounds that simple advice doesn't reach. The notebook moves in 3 directions. First, it builds the bridge. It takes you from the weight to a place of clarity about what you're actually carrying. Then it makes the presentation. It shows you precisely what needs to be released and names it clearly. And then it gives you the direction. It opens the road forward, step by step, toward the life your enemies try to prevent. First pinned comment, my love. The door is open. Come when you are ready. And while you consider, I want to say something that has nothing to do with courses or products or next steps. I want to say it because it is simply true, and because you deserve to hear it. The fact that you have been carrying this injustice in silence, that is not weakness. I need you to understand that. People who haven't lived what you lived will tell you, let it go, move on, stop giving it energy. And you've tried. You know you've tried. But the anger is still there in the morning when you wake up, still there when you see a name, or hear a voice, or remember a moment. That persistence is not a character flaw. It is what happens to people who learned how to endure, who were taught, somewhere along the road, that holding on quietly was safer than releasing loudly. You learned to survive by carrying. Now it is time to learn something different. And that learning, that is an act of profound strength, not weakness. The judgment card carries imagery that is almost impossible to forget once you've sat with it. The great trumpet sounding from the sky, the earth opening. And what rises? What has been buried? What has been silent? What everyone thought was finished? Rising. Not diminished, not damaged. Whole. Called back to life by a force greater than anything human hands could have buried. For you, Aries, this is the image of your own restoration. Your dreams, the ones your enemies tried to tell you were impossible, the ones they sabotaged. Your peace, the quiet that used to live in your chest before the betrayal, before you learned you couldn't trust the person you trusted. Your sense of your own worth, that your enemies worked to erode, wound by wound. All of it is being called back to life. That is what the judgment announces for Aries today. Write this down, my love. What was unjustly buried in you is being called back by name. Now, I want to tell you about a woman who came to me some time ago. She sat down, put her hands on the table, and said, "There is someone at work who is destroying me, and I don't know how much longer I can hold on." She was exhausted. This person, her enemy, had dismantled her professional life piece by piece, had poisoned relationships, taken credit, made her question her own competence. She asked me, "Is there any hope?" And the card that appeared was the judgment. I told her exactly what I am telling you now. 3 months later, she came back. The enemy had been transferred to another city. She had been promoted. She had done nothing except protect her own integrity and keep showing up. The judgment had sounded, and what had been unjustly diminished had been restored, not by her hand, but by a force that sees everything. Now, I want to give you something concrete to take with you tonight, Aries. A ritual, not for forgiving your enemy, because I am not going to ask you to forgive someone who has not repented. This is not about forgiveness. This is about freeing yourself, because right now, you are carrying your enemy inside your body, in the tension in your shoulders, in the thoughts that arrive at 3 in the morning, in the anger that flares up when you least expect it. And that weight belongs to them. It is not yours. Tonight, when you are alone and the house is quiet, place your hand on your chest. Feel your own heartbeat under your palm. And say these words out loud. Say, I free myself from you. Your power over me no longer exists. What you stole from me, God gives back. Say it once for the betrayal, for the specific moment when the wound was made. Say it again for the anger, for everything you have carried since then in silence. And say it a third time for the victory that is coming, because releasing the weight is how you make room for what is being restored. This is not forgiving your enemy. This is evicting them from the home they have been occupying inside you without your permission. You deserve that room back, Aries. Take it. I know that ritual will help you tonight, my love, and if you do it again tomorrow, it will help again. But here is something I want to be honest with you about. The anger you are carrying, it is old. It has layers. It was not made in a day, and it will not be fully released in a single evening of spoken words. One video cannot wash away years of what you have absorbed and survived. What you need is not one good insight. It is a sustained path, a road that goes all the way through. And that is exactly what I want to offer you now. My love, I am going to tell you an honest truth. One video is not enough for what you carry. I have been doing this work for over 20 years, and I know the difference between someone who has been lightly disappointed and someone who has been genuinely attacked, genuinely betrayed, genuinely worn down. You are not someone who needs a pep talk. You don't need more advice, Aries. You need a path. That is why I created the 21 Decree Notebook. Not a long course, not something that requires you to study anything. The notebook works in 3 phases. In the first 7 days, we cut. We identify precisely what was planted in you by the attacks and betrayals, and we begin to sever it from your identity. In days 8 through 14, we heal. We address the wound itself, not the symptom, but the root. And in days 15 through 21, we open. We prepare the ground for what God is already building in your favor, so that when the judgment delivers your full restoration, you are standing on solid ground to receive it. I accompany you voice to voice, every decree, every step. You are never alone, and if after 7 days you feel it is not for you, there is a full refund. No questions, no complications. The door is in the first pinned comment below. I am ready for my path. Say those words if you feel them, my love. The door is open. And now, my love, I want to close this reading with what the cards showed me at the very end. After the judgment came another card, the sun. Oh, how my heart moved when I saw it. The sun, the card of victory, of joy after the longest night, of the light that returns not gently, but fully, blazing, warm, undeniable. The sun appears to tell you that what has been building in your favor, what the judgment has been pronouncing in the invisible, is very close to becoming visible in your life. The victory your enemies didn't want you to have, the peace they tried to make unreachable, the recognition, the restoration, it is approaching. Not as a distant possibility, as a nearness. You have survived the night, Aries. The longest, most exhausting night. And the sun is rising for you now. Before you go, write in the comments, I am ready for my path. Not because I need to read it, but because declaring it is an act of alignment. You are telling the universe, I am ready. And subscribe if you haven't yet, my love, because the conversation between us doesn't end here. The cards have more to say. I'll be here. One last thing before you go, my love. The 21 Decree notebook is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. I am not going anywhere, but I have learned over 20 years that decisions that are postponed sometimes become never. Not because we don't want the change, but because the moment passes and we return to carrying what we've always carried. Don't let that happen this time, Aries. You came here this morning for a reason. The judgment appeared first for a reason. The sun closed this reading for a reason. First pinned comment. When you are ready, we walk in the light. You are not alone.